Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to Intuition. So in today's video, we're going to be doing some fun practice math questions. And these are basically SAT type questions, but they're good financial questions that I think that every adult should be able to answer. So whether you are a high school student studying for the SAT, or if you are an adult trying to brush up on some basic math skills, I think that this video should be very helpful for you. All right, so with that said, stay tuned. Today we're going to be answering two questions, and I think the best way to watch these videos is to look at the question first, then pause the video, try to see if you can answer the questions, and once you've attempted to answer the questions, then go ahead and replay the video and follow my explanation throughout the rest of the video to see if you came up with the same solution that I did. Okay? All right, so with that said, let's dive into question number one. So question number one states, a plumber who charges $50 per hour of labor service tells you that he can install the plumbing system for your new home in 7 hours. On the other hand, your friend with less experience tells you that he can do the same job in 10 hours, but would only charge you $30 per hour. To save both money and time, you decide to have your friend work together with the plumber to do the installation. How much money will this cost you? Okay, so the plumber and your friend are going to work together, and they have different work rates. If the plumber worked by himself, he will complete this job in 7 hours. But if your friend worked by himself, he will complete the job in 10 hours. So they have different work rates. So if they work together, what would they have in common? Because they have different work rates, what they will have in common would not be the amount of work that they get done, right? Obviously, the plumber is going to be able to get more work done because he works at a faster rate. What they will have in common is the amount of time they spend working, because you're going to clock them at the beginning of their work shift, and they're going to work together until the job is complete. And when the job is complete, they're both going to stop working. So the common denominator for the plumber and your friend will be the amount of time that they spend working. So that's the common denominator. So we're going to go ahead and add the work rate for the plumber and your friend. The plumber can do the job, which is what we'll call it one job, can do one job in 7 hours, plus your friend, he can do the same one job in 10 hours. How do we add these two rates together? We find the common denominator, right? I'm going to multiply the plumber's rate by 10 over 10, because 10 over 10 is equal to 1. So I'm not changing his work rate, I'm just changing how his work rate is represented. 1 times anything equals that same thing. So if you multiply anything by 1, you're not changing it. You might just be changing how it's represented. Okay, so 10 over 10 times the plumber's rate will be equal to 10 jobs divided by 70 hours, right? So the plumber will be capable of installing 10 systems in 70 hours. And then I'm going to multiply your friend's work rate by 7 over 7, because 7 divided by 7 is just equal to 1. I'm not changing your friend's work rate either. I'm keeping their work rates the same. I'm just changing how they're represented so that they have a common denominator, because they're going to be working for the same amount of time. So I want them to have a common denominator of time. Okay, so multiply your friend's work rate by 7 over 7. And in the numerator, I get 7 jobs divided by 70 hours. Okay. All right, so now I have common denominator of 70 hours. And now we can add their work rates together. Okay, so what would be their work rates? It would be 17 jobs divided by 70 hours. So your plumber and your friend working together can install 17 systems in 70 hours. But in this case, they're only going to be installing one system, your system, right? They're just going to be installing your plumbing system, which is just one job. So they're only going to be doing one job. It will take 70 hours to do 17 jobs. But in this case, they're only doing one job. So if I do 70 divided by 17 times one job, that will be equal to 4.11 hours. So the plumber and your friend working together will be able to install your plumbing system in 4.11 hours. And now remember, the plumber charges $50 an hour and your friend charges $80 an hour. So together, they're going to charge you $80 an hour. And they're working for a total of 4.11 hours. So you do $80 an hour times 4.11 hours. And how much money is that? $329. If you get them to work together, you would only spend $329. And this is a classic SAT problem, but I think if you know anything about money, you should be able to answer these types of questions, right? No excuses. All right, so let's dive into question 2. Our second question states, your friend CJ asks you to help him mow a football field that has a total area of 5,300 square yards. You can mow 2,000 square yards by yourself in 2 hours, whereas CJ can mow 1,000 square yards in 1.5 hours. If the total payment for the job is $500 and the two of you decide to split the money in accordance to your work rates, how much money should you and CJ get? Very similar problem to the first one, right? Once again, you have two people who work at different rates are going to be working together to do a job. So in this case, you and your friend CJ are going to be working together to mow a football field. Now, in this case, you guys don't have fixed rates that you charge the customer. The customer is going to give you a flat payment of $500, and you guys have agreed to split the money according to your work rate. So, how is that money going to be split? Well, we just need to find out what is the relative work rate for you and CJ. And what is that? Well, you have a work rate of 2,000 square yards for every 2 hours. And if you take that ratio, that will be equal to 1,000 square yards per hour. So that is your work rate. You can mow 1,000 square yards in 1 hour. How does that compare to CJ's work rate? Well, let's divide your work rate by his work rate. So your work rate is 1,000 square yards per hour divided by his work rate, which is 1,000 square yards every 1.5 hours. What does this ratio equal? So we're going to take CJ's work rate, bring it to the numerator and flip it. So we'll have your work rate, which is 1,000 square yards per hour, times CJ's inverse work rate, which will be 1.5 hours divided by 1,000 square yards. This equals 1.5, and 1.5 is equivalent to 3 halves, right? So you guys have a relative work rate of 3-2. So that means that you can mow 3 football fields in the same amount of time that CJ can mow 2 football fields, okay? You're a little bit faster than him. You're 1.5 times as fast. So if you're 1.5 times as fast, then you should get 1.5 times the money, right? So if you guys have a relative ratio of 3-2, 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. And out of every 5, you should get 3. And out of every 5, CJ should get 2. So every 5 should be split in 3 and 2. 3 for you, 2 for CJ. So that means that 3/5 of the money should go to you, and 2/5 of the money should go to CJ. So what is 3/5 of 500? 3/5 of 500 is what? $300. And what is 2/5 of 500? 2/5 of 500 is $200. So $300 for you and $200 for CJ. And the correct answer should be answer choice B. All right, 300 for you, 200 for CJ. All right, very straightforward problem. These are the type of math problems that every grown person should be able to answer, because like 90% of being an adult is dealing with financial matters, right? Mortgages, money budgeting, and so forth. So it's very good to make sure that you have basic skills that would allow you to be able to better handle your financial situation. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. If you're studying for the SAT, hopefully it gave you some good practice. With that said, I want you guys to continue to watch, continue to share our videos and let people know that we're out here. Help us reach other people who would benefit from our channel, which I think should be everybody. But keep watching, keep liking, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and become part of our YouTube family. All right, so with that said, I'll see you guys next week with more math and science videos. All right, bye-bye.